And we are live. Hello, I'm Charlotte. I'm head of marketing at Lombard, and today we've got a really exciting Lombard Lounge session because we've got all of our, or some of our, most of our new Lombard ambassadors joining us from around the world. So really, really excited to introduce the new ambassadors and give them the space to share about their ambassador journey, why they're excited about being a Lombard ambassador, but ultimately all the things that we plan to do together over the course of the next 6 months and beyond. So I'm really happy to be here today. I'm joined by Kirthi, who is Lombard's marketing manager, and she pulled this whole program together. So I'm going to try and not do as much talking as I usually do. Kirthi can talk through the program and then also give everyone in this live stream time to really just introduce themselves and make themselves more familiar to you, the Lombard community, and also try and have some fun. That was the brief before we got into here, was I'm going to try and talk like as little as possible, and we're all going to try and have some fun. So that's why we're here today. And if everyone just wants to come off their mic and say hello and test their mics one last time before we get into it, that'd be great.
Hey everyone, nice to see you guys. Excited for the space, and yeah, let's rock and roll.
Hey everyone.
Should we go in turns?
Yeah, let's all just say hi. Yeah. We'll do proper introductions in a sec.
Nice. Now, hi everyone. Really great to be part of the ambassador group, and can't wait to talk more about Lombard and BTC5.
Hi everyone, really honored to be in this space, and thank you for the opportunity for onboarding me as the ambassador. Let's do this.
Hi everyone.
Hi everyone. My name is Anas from Nigeria. I'm happy to be here with you guys today. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone. I'm very proud to be here today. Nice to meet you all.
Amazing.
Hello, this is BQ from Korea. Nice to meet you all. Hope you have a great time.
Hi, awesome. Oh, there's so much energy.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Sari. I'm from Vietnam. Currently, I'm serving as an ambassador for Lombard in Vietnam, and I live in Hanoi capital. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I'm Dudu from the Middle East, from Israel, and I was voting for Lombard on the Kaito leaderboard. I actually have a tweet from January 28th, 2025. And then I hosted Jacob actually on my podcast a little bit after that. So it's very exciting to be on the guest side with the Lombard team and all the great ambassadors, and to put some faces to the PFPs that I interact with every day. Let's do this.
Amazing. And thank you everyone for bringing the energy and being here. It's kind of crazy to be hearing the accents behind the PFPs as well. I think we've got every sort of nationality and region and definitely continent covered here. So that's really, really exciting. And thank you all for showing up and bringing the energy. I've got my first question today is going to be for Kirthi, marketing manager over at Lombard, just to tell us a little bit about this ambassador program before we get into everyone's individual stories. So tell us why we're doing this ambassador program, Kirthi, and how it came about.
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, hi everyone. My name is Kirthi. I'm the marketing manager at Lombard, and I'm really excited to be on the camera here on the live stream for the first time. So about the ambassador program, so one of the coolest things about Lombard is that our community, and we've from the start, Lombard has already had an incredible community of bards who are very engaged, very curious, very intelligent, and very creative. And they've always been there and very thriving from the start. And this ambassador program was essentially a path that we created to take our existing bards and existing community to the next level. And to formalize our community, and essentially we see these ambassadors as an extension of the Lombard team itself. And to boil it down to the goals of the ambassador program, our aim, I think one of the core aims was that Lombard's vision for Bitcoin, Bitcoin on chain, BTC-Fi, and also some very cool, very exciting things that we will be sharing with the world very soon. First, certainly it's all driven by our ethos, the team, and our product, but also very much so by the people that also believe in our vision, by our community, and those externally that also see the things that we see. So one of the core goals of this program was to curate a group of community leaders and leaders essentially who also really get Lombard, who really believe in the vision that we do too, and help drive this vision to the wider ecosystem. And of course, like and this will be done through their own authentic ways of storytelling, of creating content, events, whatever, like their own authentic self of spreading this vision that we all believe in from the start. I think another core reason why, another core reason why we thought of this program was to create this closer two-way feedback loop. So I believe we are quite close to the community and we value the community. We love all the content, we see everything. But also this program is a way to get more feedback from the community itself, to hear idea, suggestion, thoughts, and to, have this two-way loop between us and the community. So I think like this summarizes what we thought of when we initially proposed this ambassador program. Yeah.
Awesome. And I think we've really done that. We're definitely hitting the goals with this global reach of ambassadors as the extension of our team. And yeah, I'd actually really like to hear from some of the ambassadors. So maybe we could go into short introductions and why Lombard was the ambassadorship that you wanted to apply for. I know a couple of people on this stream, like the advisor, are ambassadors for other protocols. So really interested in maybe you guys introducing yourselves and a couple of the reasons why you decided to be a Lombard ambassador, because you're all very, very busy people running your accounts and your day jobs. So just really interested to why Lombard. Who wants to start?
I can start. Awesome. So just a quick introduction by myself first. I'm known as the advisor of the BTC on Twitter, and I've been writing and publishing Bitcoin-focused content for almost 4 years now. And why I've chose BTC-Fi is because like Bitcoin is the most liquid, most known token out there, the one that has the most adoption even from institutions, yet it's the one that is the least used in DeFi. And so there's like, 2 trillion worth of BTC that can be used as liquidity, and nobody's really tapping into it. And there's been many protocols that have tried to do it. But right is that the user experience is not always the optimal. It's not always easy to interact with such protocols. And the reason why I chose, say, Lombard, why I've been writing about Lombard for like more than a few months now, is that they've cracked the code for like improving, let's say, BTC-Fi adoption. So like if you go on Lombard, you have like one-click vaults where you can earn yield and points. So like the user experience make it really, really easy for anyone that owns BTC to start their journey into Bitcoin yield and DeFi. And I would say that the results speak for themselves. Like Lombard is probably the biggest DeFi protocol for Bitcoin right now, if you don't consider, say, Babylon as a, let's say, DeFi protocol. And also aside from the on-chain adoption, what also struck me is how, let's say, the social media team was always there to put likes, retweet. Like you don't always see that kind of interaction from social media teams. So overall, the whole protocol and team made me realize how Lombard is a special protocol in the Bitcoin space.
Awesome. Great to have you on board.
I mean,
Thanks.
what the advisor said is true. There's no Bitcoin. Before Lombard came around, Bitcoin was completely underutilized in DeFi, and for me, like I've gone through a lot of different waves in my journey. Like I joined crypto in 2017, and back then I was very naive, very idealistic. This can change the world. This can heal society. And I got a lot of, I saw a lot of the RTOs, the garbage. I started already at the bottom, like shilling RTOs on Reddit, and I saw a lot of garbage there, and a lot of, I understood that a lot of people are like shill their coins just to kind of, create exit liquidity and then dump it on the community, and that kind of made me a Bitcoin maxi for a while. But there's also some occupational hazards of being a maxi. Like you miss out on all the opportunities. The DeFi summer. Like thank God I still had some foot in the door over there, so I still like got the Uniswap airdrop and a few other cool things. But I wasn't immersed in it. Now I feel like I've come to a very like stable mean where I still believe in Bitcoin, and I'm sort of almost 90% Bitcoin in terms of allocation, and in terms of time, that's where I can sort of look around and see what's happening, and I get exposure to other projects. And I work in the space. I help projects with marketing in the space, so I have to be alert at what's happening. So for me, Lombard kind of mixes that too. Bitcoin as the asset, as the core, as the foundation, and something real. And obviously, Bitcoin, I can go on for days about the superiority of Bitcoin. At the same time, the app that it's still, you can still get exposure to the InfoFi side by talking about Lombard. You still get exposure to the DeFi side by staking Lombard. So it's a nice mix of Bitcoin. I'm not a maxi anymore. I'm still not a full blown shitcoin. I'm in the middle. I'm a bot.
I think that's awesome. I'd like to add to that a little bit too, because I didn't join in 2017. I joined in 2020, and I feel I kind of went through like a cycle and revelation. Like I started with Bitcoin, but then kind of just went ETH, and then the like crazy rabbit hole of altcoins. Like, and I'm a big clicker. Like I try everything. I think from getting the Uniswap airdrop, that taught me like just click, try things out, and so I kind of went through the phase of like trying everything out, and slowly I'm realizing that no, you need to have a strong Bitcoin base. And I kind of realized that about a year and a half ago. So I started looking into like what can I do with Bitcoin, aside for just holding it. Started with like just wrap BTC. Then I was like, can there be more? Can there be more? And then came across Lombard and just kind of just fell in love from there. And so from my end specifically, everything I try out, I try to learn from it and teach other people if they were interested, or at least get them one step ahead, that they don't have to, go through the itty gritty parts of it. So I think with Lombard and specifically this ambassadorship, I'm going to be making different video contents on the practicality of using it. So how I use it, how you can use it, how other people are using it, and also just trying to bring that idea that I've kind of come across in the last few years and try to, again, bring it to people. I do think some people need to maybe experience it to realize, oh, wait, Bitcoin is king. But some people might, be able to be convinced of it as well if they, know the track record or kind of understand my new view that I've had in this last, I'd say, year and a half of my journey. So that's probably what's going to come from me. A lot of content, a lot of talking. It's not the most flashiest in your face, go, but it's there to hopefully, enhance your knowledge of what's available at least. So excited for that. Really excited.
Interesting points. I've started to dive into BTCFi. As you said, are there anything else to do with Bitcoin? And then, well, that's how I became to know Lombard also. The point for the question you asked, the point that made me to apply for the ambassadors and act for the Lombard project is, well, there is a lot of BTCFi around this space. You have a lot of stuffs. For me, there were three most important points. One is security. Second one was regarding how responsive the team is with my asset. And then third is, of course, like the DeFi, where you could do it. In terms of security, I guess from what I know, Lombard is the only one who has a security consortium where you have, well, it's not 100% decentralized, but you have some trust in where your assets could be handled by the project. And the second part that really made me into Lombard was the team's reaction to assets. I'm not sure if anyone noticed, but during the Babylon phases, a lot of teams, I wouldn't pick on them, but they were lagging in response with stakings. It took time, but it's my asset which they were handling. I don't want to miss any of the rewards or DeFi rewards, and I think Lombard was the only team that was like going straight into it. That just made me trust the team. Yeah, and third, the DeFi. In terms of AVE, other DeFi integrations, I think it's the only LSC on it, A for now. Those kind of DeFi expansions, just I think it's a strongest point in Lombard, the part which makes me fascinated about Lombard.
Awesome points from BQ. Hi everyone, I'm Kazuma and I'm from Japan. I'm based in Tokyo. And for the reason why I'm choosing to be the ambassador for Lombard is basically because I'm actually using it. You can never be a ambassador for anything if you're not actually a user of it. And Lombard has done an amazing job at keeping the transparency real compared to other Wrap BTC projects. You can literally see everything, the backing, the collateral on Dune, and that is something that really touched me. And also, LBTC compared to other BTC5 projects has, let's say, unparalleled integration with DeFi space. Like Pendo, Aave, Compound, you can do a lot of DeFi magic with those kind of protocols. So that's why I'm really loving Lombard.
Hello guys. I
Okay,
saw many
let me do then.
tools about Bitcoin DeFi, and I learned about it in 2017, especially from 2020. I really love about Ethereum DeFi. I have DeFi legends. So like, but the things always suit me out is Bitcoin, but we know it like we only use for to hold, but not to do anything. So that's why the reason me bring me to BTC5, so we can, and the fact is only 0.4% of Bitcoin in DeFi now. It's too small, and I think Lombard can unlock fully potential about Bitcoin. Yeah, that's a simple reason about it.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Sari from Vietnam, and I started my journey in Web3 as a researcher since 2017, and later moved into marketing, and now I'm growing as a contributor in Vietnamese blockchain space. So I have a strong belief in the long-term vision and potential of BTC fee, where Bitcoin evolves from being just a store of value into something much more usable and productivity. And I believe Lombard will be one of the key player driving this transformation. In Vietnam, a lot of people hold BTC but don't actually use it for anything. It just sits in a wallet. Uh, there were even a new article about someone here holding up to 20,000 BTC, the much more BTC here. So I think Lombard is the key place. I think I will need to build content, event, and community that feel truly local and relatable. So if I do it right with the right timing and message, I think BTC fee has a real chain to take off in Vietnam. So it's all about me. Yeah.
All right, let me do now. My name is Anas. I'm from Nigeria. I started crypto in 2019. and I specialize in building communities for projects in Nigeria. In the past, I've worked for CU Nigeria and Sign Network in terms of having RL events for them in Nigeria, especially in the northern part of Nigeria. And on why I joined the ambassadors program, one of the reasons is it has to do with how easy Lombard is able to transform BTC into a liquid staking asset. But I was really impressed by that. And when I went through the side of Lombard, and so they were able to use what you meant in terms of also in terms of security. The security was awesome, and being multi-chain was also another thing that encouraged me to join the ambassadorship program. And yeah, thank you very much for that, for giving me the opportunity to be here. And we're just getting started because I'm going to definitely work and ensure that we build a strong community here in Nigeria, both online and offline. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you everyone very much for those really thoughtful responses to the question of why you've applied to the Lombard Ambassador Programme. You definitely made it very difficult to make a choice. I think you've seen we had like 1,300 applications that were all very, very thoughtful from brilliant people, including our huge community of yappers. So yeah, you guys were ultimately the best for the program that we want to run, which is focusing on many different regions. But you really did make our choices very difficult. So actually, that's Kitty. How long did you spend going through the applications? It must have been quite a while.
Yeah, it was a really, really long Google Docs, basically, of like everybody, all the entries. But we honestly did go through every single entry, and it took us time. But we were keen to learn like why everyone was interested, and everyone's background stories, everything. But I think what really made the cut with the ones that we selected, actually, first of all, we were initially going to select only 10 ambassadors, but there were such amazing entries that we expanded it to 15. And I'm sure we could have expanded even more, but that would be even bigger than the size of the Lombard team itself. So, it was a really cool experience to go through everyone. But I think what really made the cut was, of course, like a lot of you guys, we see your content. I feel like I know Travis. I know like so many of you bards who are already very deep in the community, and also get Lombard, get our products, get the vision, and we love the kind of content that we see. Either that we've already seen from some of the existing bards, or also from some of the newer applicants, newer ambassadors. I think the portfolios, the kind of projects you had already worked on, the kind of events some of you have hosted in bringing people together to shape a narrative or a message. We thought it was really, really cool, and done in such an authentic way. Also, I think one of the key factors was consistency. I think all of you, the kind of content that you produce now, it's not just now, or it's not just like here and there. I think we've constantly seen these over the year, maybe even more. So that definitely made a huge impact. And of course, for our regional ambassadors, I think it really stood out to us how authentically you were able to communicate a message within the community, maybe like hosting live streams, for example, or hosting meetups, hosting events, which I'm sure like we will be doing a lot of. So seeing all of these and how amazingly you all were doing that was how it made it easier for us to come down on a final 15 ambassador choice.
And I would say as well, everyone's super unique in how they show up as a ambassador or as a creator. So I'd actually love to go around the room again and just hear from you guys about what style of content you create. Like, what is your, it was one of the questions, like what would your superpower be? But what is your superpower when it comes to the content that you create or the community that you have? What does your community look to you for? Is it education or inspiration or just being the first to share some information? I'd love to hear from you why your communities are your communities, and ultimately how you're going to bring that to, how you're going to bring Lombard to your communities through those mechanisms. Anyone can go first.
I mean, I'm happy. Okay, no, go first. Go for
No,
it.
go, Taurus. I went first before.
Okay, I got it. So, I mean, I kind of briefly mentioned it before. I think a lot of the things I do is either through brief videos explaining how to do something. My community mostly comes to me to try to simplify things down in like practical terms. I actually don't come from much of a tech background. I'm just very interested in it. A lot of my friends are in tech. My best friends are in tech, but my family are all sports. They're all athletes, actually. So I come from a sports background, and so I try to make it so that I can explain it to them, and I actually am always explaining it to them. And until they click and get it, then I know that it's at least simple enough for people to understand. And I think with crypto, with Bitcoin, and with BTC-Fi especially, there's lots of layers to it. So I try to find where the audience is at and then kind of teach from there. So a lot of my audience are passionate about crypto, but maybe just don't understand the underlying things. And I think a lot of it is not even just due to the tech, but it's also due to just finance in general and just knowing the abilities and things that you can do. So I try to keep things less complicated as possible. And if people kind of catch on, then I'm happy to kind of take things to the next level. So I learn mostly from what I do, and then after try to share it and keep it simple for people. So that's the type of content I like to do. If there's some flash cool things that happen, of course I want to share it, but it's more on the educational side of things.
Nice. So maybe on my side, the kind of community that mainly follows me are Bitcoin, let's say, people that like Bitcoin, like, because I've been focused on BTC-Fi, Bitcoin L2s. So like my community is mainly Bitcoin native, let's call it like this. So the content I write is mainly educational. And the idea is that many of these people like BTC, they want to deploy it in DeFi, but they might not have the time to look at all the DeFi protocols. So like they want a tutorial on how to use a certain app. So the way I position myself is try to write weekly threads about various projects and maybe explain what the project does, how you can use it, like a step-by-step tutorial. And I also like to take a data-driven approach because people tend to overlook maybe at important facts. For example, if you look at how many BTC Lombard has usage in DeFi, these are all data that prove why you should use a certain protocol. So I also tend to do at the same time, let's say, data-driven threads and content. But to make it really short, let's say the community that tend to follow me and the value that I provide them is how to use Bitcoin DeFi protocols and how to stay updated on what is happening with Bitcoin.
Yeah, I come a bit different angle from other people. Like I'm someone who work with Rune dashboard and on-chain data, and I use the data to make content. So my role as ambassador is just not make a bossy update, it making things make sense. Like I build charts that show Lombard growing. I explain DeFi strategy with using real numbers, and I create visual threads, infographics to help user understand DeFi working and Lombard. Yeah, my best knowledge is about data on chain and those dashboard.
Yeah, I think that's how we got familiar with you a long time ago, Janaso, is when LBTC launched on Base and you shared this awesome, I think it was an awesome Flipside data dashboard. And I was like, wow, this guy's just like out there doing things. And it actually looked a lot fresher than our own June dashboard. So you made us like go back and change our June to make it as good as yours. So really inspirational from the start. And data is just such an important piece of how we communicate. And ultimately, Janase, your data will be informing Travis's and the advisors and Dudu's content. So really, really great role for this ambassador team and the wider community.
Yeah, thank you.
And
I'll go
Anas and
next.
oh yeah, please.
Oh no, you go first. What were you trying to say?
I was just interested in, no, you can definitely go next, but I want to make sure that Sherry and Anas talk about the events that they run in their regions at some point. But you go ahead.
Okay, sorry for cutting in. I am from Japan, so my background is so I usually write contents in Japanese and mostly are deep dive articles for DeFi projects. I usually analyze like the risk profile and the possible return. I also made a bunch of mushi for YT because I'm also the Japanese ambassador for Pandel. So yeah, that's my background and how I make contents. And I feel like there is not a lot of people in Japan knows about how they can further utilize BTC on chain, especially on EVM chain or C chain. And I feel like Lombard is a really nice fit, a really nice alternative to rep BTC. And I want to, further push this to the Japanese community.
Awesome. Thank you. Who's next? Anas, do you want to talk about, because one thing that stood out from your application actually, and Kirthi can talk about it as well, was the events that you run over in Nigeria. They look so cool, and we were just like, oh my gosh, we need a bit of that. So maybe you can talk about those events that you run and can potentially run for Lombard in the future.
Okay, thank you very much for appreciating my work. I'm so happy to hear that from you. Actually, I write educational content in both English and Hausa because Nigeria is a very big country of more than 200 million, and we have a lot of people that don't understand English. So I write content in English and the local language as well. I try to make the content as simple as possible for them to be able to understand and assimilate. And in terms of hosting events, we normally start by hosting onboarding events for protocols. They are normally IRL events. What we normally do is we normally start at the regional level before we go to each and every state. Like I said, Nigeria is a big country with 36 states. So the onboarding series is normally the one we normally start with. Then we move from there to develop events, content creators events, and what have you. And so far so good. I was privileged to hold events in about 20 states in Nigeria. We've onboarded a lot of people into different ecosystems. We coach people on how to write content. We hold develop events for developers, starting from scratch, from the basic up to when they will get to be able to develop their own platforms and protocols. So hosting events is what I specialize in, and I'm very glad I've been given this opportunity to start with this event. Already, since when the announcement was made, I've gone the extra mile of creating a community on X. So far, I have about more than 60 people in that community, basically for content creators, because I want to have as many content creators as possible to increase the visibility online, to have more Nigerians know that Lombard is existing before we go into planning and hosting these events, real life events. So that's basically what I do. Thank you very much.
Okay, let me share my plans as a regional ambassador for Vietnam. I'm excited to help Lombard tap into one of the most active and fast-growing Web3 community in C. My focus will be on education user about BTC fee, building awareness through local content, and connecting with community that are already curious about how to use Bitcoin beyond just holding. With Vietnam new law officially recognizing digital assets from 2026, I see a huge opportunity to position Lombard early and help shape the narrative around Bitcoin Unity. And this August, Vietnam will host GM Vietnam 2025, one of the largest Web3 events in Southeast Asia, with 20,000 attendees, uh, 300 speakers, and hundreds of top-tier projects participating. And I will support Lombard presence at the event, building community connection and work closely with local builders to unlock real option adoption in the coming year. Okay, that is my plans. I think so.
That's awesome. We're so lucky to have you, Sherry.
Yeah.
Please, can I say something?
Please.
Okay. I would like to add that I've been able to reach out to Lombard being a multi-chain protocol. I know we have it on CU and Sonic. So I've been able to reach out to the community lead for Sonic Nigeria and CU Nigeria to see how we can collaborate in leveraging their events, because for the CU Nigerian community, they normally host events in Nigeria on monthly. Lombard is fully represented in most of these events in Nigeria. And as we progress, I'm going to be sharing the template with you guys on how we're going to be able to achieve that. That's what I want to add.
Oh, wow, amazing. Yeah, that sounds great. We love the Sonic team, and it'll be amazing for you to collab with the team on the ground there. We'd love that.
I want to kind of share, because everyone spoke about different formats of content, and I think a lot of the stuff, Tom, we do a lot of the same stuff, like June dashboards and data points and DeFi Llama and whatever. But I think what really, and this is kind of a question, because my day job is crypto marketing. Working with a few projects with my agency, and one thing we tell clients, like off the bat, is it's really, really good idea to have a mascot, to have some sort of like the storytelling element. And this is something I'm trying to work on my personal content. Like some people can take like shoe boxes and make it like banger content out of selling shoe boxes, and some people, you'll give them the most interesting tech in the world and they'll still bore you to death. So that's personally what I'm trying to sharpen in my own life, because I didn't come from the right brain, the left brain, the right brain side of content. Like I'm a stats major. I was a data analyst at eBay, and only because I got into crypto at a time when there wasn't Dune, there wasn't, blockchain projects were not hiring data analysts. They wanted smart contract devs and people to shill them on Twitter. So I couldn't develop, so I had to shill on Twitter, and that's what got me into the space. So I always had this kind of inferiority complex. I need to do something more technical. I need to be, but you don't have to have an inferiority complex, because super storytelling is really a superpower. So I think for me, that's kind of what I'm going to try and push towards in the at least in the Lombard aspect, and in general, like add some more, add a narrative, add a storytelling element to it, that it doesn't always have to be the same, like telling people facts. You can tell people a story and have them learn through being entertained. I'm a very big believer in that.
Oh, interesting aspect, because you suggested something. I think that's a big part that to be honest, it's like all the project needs that. Just to go back to the question on my side, I'm BQ from Korea, and I specialize in onboarding beginners and also in alpha searching. Maybe it's just in Korea, but I think it applies to the whole world. In Korea, like we are like third largest crypto holding country. The volume's like second in the world, third in the world, or something. But the interesting part is on-chain users are like, I don't know, below 3%, maybe below 3 or 2%. Meaning like there's still a lot of people who don't know how to be on chain. They basically use exchanges. I've been like that like a few years ago. And for me, I specialize on those contents and helping people onboard the on chain with specific guides and beginner contents, which I believe is a missing part in this scene. I think it's really important for Lombard because it's BTC. You still have tons of holders that aren't on chain. So basically, I create guides, YouTubes, and different stuffs that explains stuff from like the beginner level, like simple as clicking the wallet, clicking the confirm button, clicking this website, connecting your wallet, going inside this. Yeah, and I do those and up for some experts or some high level people, interact with them with alpha searching. Yeah, and for me also, I would like to suggest a lot of the ambassadors and also Lombard itself to onboard those users who are like aren't on the scene now, and there's still like plenty of like BTC, ETH. I mean, like there's tons of Web2, Web or other money coming from places where they don't do on-chain interactions. I think like educating them, getting them on board is like the missing part.
And I think that's why it's so important, because I can see some of the questions in the Twitter thread about the difference between regional and global ambassadors and why we went with this split, ensuring that we were selecting regional and global ambassadors. And it really is because of what BQ and Kazuma just said. Like, there's such uniqueness in each of the markets as it relates to communities or Bitcoin adoption, or and of course language, but also in just like the onboarding rates into a DeFi are lower in Korea and Japan. But with BQ and Kazuma here, they can support that education in a very natural way in their market. So that's one of the reasons why we had regional ambassadors. And also, the Lombard team is 25 people. We can't be everywhere, so it's really good to have people in these spots. So Sherry's going to be repping us in Vietnam down on the ground when there's a conference, and I can imagine that Anas will do the same in Nigeria. So it really does extend our team, but does it in a way where it's just really organic and it feels natural, because these guys know the market better than anyone else because they're there, and definitely definitely makes more sense for them to be doing the talking in region than me, for example. I'm good at English, but every other language I do struggle with. So yeah, that's the reason for global and regional, and hopefully I think it will work out pretty well. We're at like 45 minutes, so I want to just make sure that the listeners of this live stream are also getting some information or some alpha from the people on the live stream here today. So obviously everyone here has been selected because they're awesome creators and they already have established communities. So I want to ask everyone on the call if they were to share any advice with the wider community of, say, Lombard Yappers, how they can sort of be creating content or building communities in the way that you have as well. I am a big believer in paying it forward, so be really interested if you guys could share some tips about creating community with watchers of the stream today. What would they be? And Travis likes to go first, so over to you, Travis.
Yeah, definitely. So very quickly, so there's enough time for everybody. For me, what really grew my community and even really started my content journey was just answering people's questions. Initially, I wasn't actually planning to really become a content creator. Like, I didn't go in saying, oh, I want to be a content creator. But as I discovered more, as I started talking about more, there's a lot more questions that were out there. And I think with especially BTC-Fi and even Lombard, specifically, there's going to be a lot of questions. And so if you can answer people's questions, then they can kind of rely on you, and you can actually get content from people's questions. So really just listen to what's out there, meet the people where they're at, and then kind of expand your knowledge along with their knowledge. And I think that brings a real genuine connection, so that when there's more questions that come, even if it might step a little bit out of your zone, there's more things you can learn, more things you can share, and then kind of, build that kind of reliance and friendship with your audience. I think there's a very natural growth that sticks around through the years, like even through the bear markets and the ups and downs of crypto. So kind of find what the questions are and answer them, I think has been my kind of growth strategy, and it's worked very well.
Maybe I can go ahead really quick. The way I think, similar to Travis, the way I started like a community and becoming a content creator was it on purpose. It's simply like I started like creating posts, and the best way I think to do it is also do a lot of replies. So take the time to answer questions. Maybe you can go on a Lombard post, people ask questions. Lombard team has already a lot of work to do. So sometimes like ambassadors or like content creators can take the time to answer to those questions. And also because replies makes you more visible to the community. And another thing I used to do a lot is hanging in the Discord. So like this is the best way to get known. And you want to start with a smaller project, like with one project. Like it's easy to talk about everything, but you're not gonna grow like this. You want to start with one project. It could be Lombard, for example, especially because it's in the right spot. Now it's big enough to have a big audience, but it's still like niche because Bitcoin DeFi hasn't exploded yet. So yeah, the 3 tips are replies and get on the Discord and just be active, consistent, let's say.
I would like to add just like one sentence. I would say is like regard also like related to questions, and it is never assume your audiences knows everything. Like I'm saying like there's tons of people around the space who will be wondering about even like what LBTC is or what BTC staking is, and those kind of contents actually helps you grow the account, and the audiences is much larger. So don't assume that your audiences are all like DeFi experts. You do the DeFi expert contents, but sometimes time by time go to the original contents, the basics. I think it would help everyone with a lot of interactions and growth.
For me, like growing community is just not getting followers. So like it's building understanding and the trust. So the way I do is enough content powering on-chain data, like I say before, like I use doing and another analytics to tell story about Lombard, like how much liquidity go into Lombard, how users using BTC or borrow or earns. So like I use data on-chain to tell the story. Yeah, that's why I grow my audience. Yeah.
For me, what I usually advise people is to know your community. You have to know your target audience and try to follow your content to those particular people. If you do that, you have very good engagement and visibility within short period of time. That's the advice I can give anybody else.
Thank you, Anas. And if people didn't hear what Anas was saying there, he was basically saying, find your community, understand what they want, create the content that they need. And I think, that's the theme that's coming through with everyone. But to wrap that section up, it was advice to yappers and other future ambassadors. Maybe we'll extend the ambassador program one day, was to either find your niche, be replying to comments and educating and getting back to people, because you'll get closer to your audience by answering their questions and understanding their needs. Picking a niche or focusing. So picking a niche like Janaso and the advisor, they're focusing on data and Bitcoin, but also focusing on one project as well. So dedicating some time to, you know, 1 or 2 projects that you really love so that you can go deeper into that, but also your community forms around that and is therefore very engaged with your content. It's one thing creating content and getting no likes and no replies, but if you can create content that your community wants, which is focused on a niche, then ultimately your engagement picks up, your followers pick up, and yeah, you can start growing your profiles like these guys have. So thank you for sharing those tips with everyone. Kitty, you wanted us to do a rapid fire round, so I'm gonna throw the first question to you and put you on the spot as soon as you wanted to do the rapid fire. So it's just once again so that our community can get to know you a little bit better. But what's a fun fact about you that your community might not know?
About me, okay. I wrote this rapid fire question, and it I forgot this is also going to be asked to me. That I grew up in. I'm Indian, but I grew up in Singapore. I never lived in India. I think that would be. But now I live in London, so I think that would be something that most of the community would know about me.
Guys, it's rapid fire. Someone needs to go quickly. Travis, I'm looking at you.
Yeah, no, okay, I think when like I kind of mentioned, I come from a sports background. So if anybody's interested in sports, sorry, not football. If a lot of people are soccer fans, whichever one you want to call it, but kind of like tall people sports. So I mean, I played basketball professionally for a few years. My sister was in the last Olympics. She got silver in beach volleyball. We go Canada. You know, my dad got drafted in the NBA. My girlfriend right now is playing volleyball professionally, so I actually follow her around. So I'll be all around Europe wherever she signs. We'll be in Poland this August. Before that, we were in Germany. Before that, we were in France. So I move around a lot and lots of sports in the background. So it's kind of a different audience to interact with. But it was my life before crypto kind of thing. So that's I think a pretty unique angle, and yeah, I get to see a lot of the world and talk to a lot of interesting people, I'd say.
Nice. Pretty cool. Like 2 things that maybe about me. I really like the NFL. So maybe going over Travis, like I'm really American football fan. Like every Sunday when there is the season, I'm there like with my family watching the games. Huge Houston, Texas fan. And another fun fact, a bit more on the nerd side, I love like Legos. I was a Lego fan since I was a kid. So like from time to time, I like to collect like specific like Lego sets and just keep them at home.
Love that. Love Lego as well. If we could see your background right now and it wasn't just a screen, I'm sure there would be lots of Legos in the background. Do. Quick fires over your way.
Yeah, I've got my background is a picture that I try to make. I'm not an artist, as you can see, but AI is turning everyone into artists. One of my hobbies, working out, running to the bomb shelter, and working out, and crypto. Like honestly, it's kind of hard to pick up hobbies. Like, you know, my friends play Fortnite and stuff. I just don't have time for that right now with 2 kids and all of that. But I love a good powerlifting session. So if anyone else is down for that, when we see each other on the conference circuit, definitely come hit me up for that. And then you know, if I had like all the time in the world, I'd probably get back into music. Like I played some keyboard and guitar back in the day. I just don't have time to kind of, you know, it's something that you have to immerse yourself in. You know, it's the same as crypto Twitter. Like if you're just like, you know, a hobbyist on a couple hours a day, whatever, you're not going to get anywhere. Like you need to, you know, some things in life you just need to go all in and immerse yourself in. And sometimes like spreading yourself thin, you know, you try and achieve everything, you achieve nothing. So that's kind of my 2 cents. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this chat. I learned a lot of things, especially about how to create better content. You know, I'm always looking to sharpen my sword because that's the only way, you know, you improve. Like there's so many people out there And when you learn from other people, then it's kind of a shortcut. You know, I don't have to make the mistakes myself. I can just see what other people have done and not copy paste, but copy and variations. You know, like I love doing that with ChatGPT as well. Like copy, give me a variation of that. You know, kind of take the tactics that work and just adapt them to your personality, and you use that to make an impact on the world. And that's at the end of the day why I'm yapping Lombard and why I support this project, because like I came in with a lot of ideals to crypto. It's not just about making money for me. It's about a world that is much more humane and fair and equal and just and beautiful for everyone to live in. And I don't think that's possible without Bitcoin. And I don't think that's possible if Bitcoin is just sitting there in cold storage. I think Bitcoin needs to be put to work. Like so that's definitely the vibe.
Amazing, thank you. That was lots of facts about you, but really glad that you had the time to share that. We, for people watching the live stream, we have a private chat with everyone that's on the stream, and we're all like 100% agree with Dudu there that, you know, we're here for many reasons that Dudu just explained. Kazuma, quick fire. What's one thing that your community doesn't know about you that you'd like to share with them today?
I learned English from watching Breaking Bad for like 10 times. I come up as a somewhat polite person in Japanese, but I'm usually making a lot of bad, dirty jokes in English. My audience probably didn't know that about me.
That's awesome. I think that's one of my favorite rapid fire answers.
Chinatsu, I saw you trying to come off mute there. Do you want to tell a fun fact about yourself?
Yeah, before this, I'm actually a music producer. So I make music for small game and short films. Yeah, I think like virtual music sound different, but they probably were for creativity, deep thinking, and staying consistent. So maybe someday I make a Lombard song in the future. Yeah.
I love that. That's a great idea. You can host our next party.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. All right. We're about at time. If anyone else wants to jump in and tell a fun fact, definitely go ahead now. Otherwise, we'll start wrapping things up. All right. I think we're good. Kitty, are there any more messages on the tweet thread that we should answer before we sign off today?
I have been tracking them the whole time, and I think we've covered all the key questions. There were some that repeated that we've already answered. There was one about the difference between a yapper and an ambassador. I think we've also covered that. But if you want me to, quickly reiterate on that, I think an ambassador program is a curated contributor path that we created. That's sort of like a layer above the Yapper program, where, you know, all the cool things, all the amazing learnings that everyone here has shared, the way they create content, the way they do their events. They'll really be leading this in their own regions and in their own communities. And I think that's one of the key distinctions, I would say, between the ambassador program and Yappers. Yeah, Charlotte, would you like to add anything else to this?
Nice. No, I think that's right. But also, the ambassadors here get a lot more information from the Lombard team. So we will be speaking to these guys frequently before news breaks. The ambassadors will sort of have the information. So we're going to be hosting like campaign briefings in our alpha channel, so that these guys get news before anybody else, which means that they can spend time crafting stories or creating videos before, you know, that news breaks. So that's one of the the benefits of being an ambassador. Of course, there would be merch, and you'll get your little affiliate badge on there. But the main difference really is that these guys get the news first, and they're allowed to like represent officially Lombard on Twitter and in real life as well, because they are awesome. So those are the key differences. But
there's one I want to add also. I briefly mentioned at the start, but that is this two-way feedback loop. I think these ambassadors will really play a key role in telling us, giving us feedback as well, and bringing information from the ground in their own regions, like market understandings that we might not know of to us. That's also like a key role.
Yeah, 100%. Awesome. We are at 1 hour, so I think we should wrap this up. And the ambassadors here, if you can post your handles on the bottom of the tweet thread, just so that everyone that's following the live stream now can go and give you a follow. If you want to learn more about the ambassadors here today, we posted and announced the ambassadors on Friday, so there's a big long thread about who these guys are and why they've been chosen, so you can check all those things out, and we'll just make sure all of that information is in the bottom of this thread for you to go and follow everyone. So this is the first time you're hearing from all of us, but definitely won't be the last, and we really appreciate you joining the live stream today. And yeah, I'm really excited about what's to come. So round of applause for all of our ambassadors for making the cut and becoming the selected 15. And I'm really excited for what we're going to be doing together going forward. We can all say bye. Everyone's being awkward now.
Bye.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
See you later.